Good afternoon, folks. This is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers. It is a beautiful Wednesday, August the 11th, 2021. This is episode number 260 of your 3 business tips at 3 o'clock in around 3 minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my kids went back to school today. My youngest son is very excited, 6th grader. Well, very excited is a relative term. I'm very excited that he's back in school. It's been kind of a crazy summer. Everybody's talking and discussing about the variants and the virus, but I think everything's going to be okay. I'm happy to see him back in person with his classmates. Today, now that he's back in school, I kind of shift back into work, took about 10 days off, but we are back to business. We're going to discuss level 10 meetings. We're going to talk about good news, reporting, and IDS. As you've heard me say before, small business owners, solopreneurs, wasting time in meetings is something that you should really try to avoid. I am someone that has always been against meetings, but as a small business owner, I have learned from one of my great customers, Savior Pest Control, what a good run meeting should look like, and I've compressed it. You can Google and look up level 10 meetings. I'm going to tell you about a 15-minute level 10 meeting that I do using some of the philosophies they have, just compressed a little bit more. Business tip number 1, when you get your team together and you have a short meeting, you should have an icebreaker. I think you should spend up to 5 minutes and talk about good news, things that are happening. Hey, this customer did this. We won this deal. Even personal things. Hey, my son went back to school. My daughter's in college. She got her first apartment. Whatever it is to kind of warm things up. That's how you start the first 5 minutes of a meeting. Business tip number 2, as a small business owner, you can go right into reporting on things that make sense to your business. How many sales you had, how many support calls you had, staffing, any data that you want to do. But I think you should compress that to 5 minutes, go around the room, let each department weigh in on their particular needs and wants of reporting. Again, you can Google level 10s. They do this in a little bit longer fashion, but I kind of have the abridged version of a level 10 meeting. And then business tip number 3, and this is where you're going to spend the next 5 minutes, and other versions of this you may spend longer. You're going to talk about what I refer to as IDS, as they refer to as IDS. It stands for identifying problems, discussing, and solving. And that portion of it is so important that we'll do a separate 333 about that. But that's where you're going to focus and drill in and kind of brainstorm as a team some solutions for that. And again, as I mentioned in the previous video, I think business owners, if you're calling a meeting together, it should be a two-way discussion with your team. There is no reason to call a meeting where it's all just regurgitating information to your team. That's not really a meeting. That can be something done in a memo or an email or something. It's kind of a waste of time to get your team together just to hear you talk. I think the purpose of a meeting is so that you have multiple communications to solve problems, but we'll talk more about that in our next episode. For now, I want you guys to think this through, consider a level 10 meeting. This is what I'm studying. I want you guys to be awesome. Have a good week. Go back to sleep.